Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first Enactus Careers webinar series, or webinar of 2015. I am Heather Norris. I am the manager of Enactus Careers here at Enactus Canada, and I just want to thank everyone for tuning in today. Just to give you an idea, Enactus Careers exists within the Enactus Canada organization to really pair Enactus students, connect Enactus students to Enactus corporate partners for career purposes. There's a few ways that we do this all throughout the year. The main two ways are through the Enactus Canada Talent Community, which is an exclusive job board for Enactus students, and also for the Enactus corporate partners to post their jobs and have Enactus Canada students apply. The other main way that we get them connected is through the Enactus Canada Regional and National Expositions, specifically at the career fairs, where we give students that one-on-one time, face time with our corporate partners. So to stay up to date on anything that is happening within Enactus Careers, so job postings, opportunities, webinars that you can tune into just like this, feel free to follow Enactus Careers on Twitter, as well as reach out to your Enactus Career ambassadors that you have on your campuses. All right, so today's webinar is going to cover the application process of landing that dream job. Now, we all know that landing that dream job does not happen overnight. There's multiple steps in getting that to happen. And today we're going to focus specifically on the application process. And then throughout the webinar series that happen, we will cover other little topics. Just to give you an idea, we'll be covering interview process, the follow-up process after you interview, as well as any networking opportunities that you attend that kind of assist in landing that dream job. So again, today we'll focus on the application process, and we're going to cover tips and tricks on your cover letter writing, your resume writing, and any of those application questions that you fill out through the process. So a general rule when writing these three key pieces is customization. You want to ensure that your cover letter and your resume and your application responses are targeted towards the job that you are applying for. So just a general rule, you shouldn't have just one resume that you submit to everybody for every job application. You should be tailoring it to the specific job. To give an example, one job application may say that we're looking for a candidate that has good communication skills or or knows Microsoft Excel, those type of things. And you want to be able to tailor that in your resume. So those key skill sections, as well as in your previous job experience, you want to be able to highlight those. So again, just making sure that those are customized. And all of these tips and tricks are ideally getting you to have your resume in the keep pile as opposed to that toss pile when recruiters are looking at them. As we know, recruiters look at hundreds, thousands of resumes daily or weekly. So just making sure that your resume stands out. Another kind of general rule regarding these three pieces is kind of obvious, but it's your spelling and your grammar. I know that this is probably said over and over and over again, but you would be surprised at how many people miss those little things. So ways to prevent these from happening is to have a friend look over your resume. I know some people do the reading backwards through your cover letter or through your resume, as well as just double, triple checking it yourself and putting it through those spell check wording on Word or through other devices. Another general rule is the format that you submit your application in. You want to make sure that the form that you are submitting, or the document that you're submitting, is a PDF version. And this basically allows you to screen capture your application and submit it. So this is for your resume and your cover letter specifically. If you were to submit a Word document, the formatting may get mixed up. Your font might be a little bit different. So ensuring that it is in a PDF will allow you to have that the security of knowing that the recruiter is seeing it the way that you want them to see it. So spacing and everything like that. And just for general information, if you are unsure of templates to use for your cover letter or for your resume, simply Google it. There are tons and tons and tons of formats or templates for your cover letter and your resume online. But in some cases, you may not want to follow these exact formats. You may want to get a little bit creative, especially for those marketing jobs or graphic designers or social media. You want to make sure that you, again, it comes back to the tailoring thing. If you're applying for a specific job, you want to make sure that that reflects in your resume. So getting that creative aspect is key. So now jumping into specifics in terms of cover letter versus resume versus application, and kind of what little tips and tricks around that. So with your cover letter, basically what you are trying to tell the recruiter is, I'm perfect, and call me. And ways that you can do this is to make sure that you've kind of done your research. Show the recruiter that you've actually looked at the website and that you are an asset to the company. You don't want to make your cover letter too long. They say that about 3 paragraphs or half a page is sufficient. You don't want to be creating a long list. They look through millions of cover letters, and you want to make it as easy as possible for them. Another cool thing is that what you're trying to tell the recruiter is, yeah, I'm a perfect fit. Here, make some notes on my cover letter. So leave them that space to make notes, and also call me. One thing with your cover letter is you don't want to necessarily repeat what is on your resume. This is those main skills that we talk about. You don't want to be reiterating that or basically they're in point form and now you're making them into a sentence just for the sake of it. The cover letter is really to tailor towards that specific job and kind of your elevator pitch in a way that you don't necessarily get the chance to do on a resume. So I'm a really great fit for your organization. I am an asset to the company. And place also to, again, to get specific. So highlight an area of your resume. Again, don't repeat it, but highlight an area of it. Another thing, kind of to avoid using on your resume, and this will also relate back into your cover letter, which also relates back to the resume, is that you don't want to put my name is, and I'm applying for this. Usually when you apply for a job, they already know that you're applying for that job. So you don't necessarily need to reinforce that information. They know that you're applying for a marketing position at their company, and they already know that your name is this due to your profile that you filled out previously. So again, you just want to make it as short and simple as possible. Another thing on the cover letter, and people always kind of have these 2 big questions, is who do you address and are you supposed to sign the bottom or not? So when you're drafting this and you're thinking about how to address the recruiter that it's going to go to, you really need to analyze that a little bit. If you know the person that you are that you're submitting it to, then definitely put Dear Mr. John Doe. And then maybe put in a little tag about how you met that person or a trigger that will help them to remember who you are. So we met at this networking event, and we chatted about this, and this kind of thing. If you don't know who you are submitting this to and you're just submitting it onto a job board, then don't put Dear or to whom it may concern, dear recruiter, just simply take that out. And again, it makes it even shorter, which is great. And also the signature at the bottom. I think the general rule is if you have an electronic signature, then great, you can add that when you're submitting it online. If you're submitting it in person, then definitely sign Dear Heather Norris or Sincerely, and then sign your name. But if it's on the web, a digital signature isn't necessarily needed. You can just type your name. So kind of it depends on the situation and how you're submitting that application. So now moving on to kind of the resume. And before I move on to specific resume, I just want to talk about formatting between cover letter and resume. So ensuring that the formatting is similar. So in this, I'm meaning the header at the top of your page, which usually includes your contact information. So your phone number, your email, your name, maybe your website, your LinkedIn profile, things like that. You want to make sure that there's consistency within your cover letter and resume. So making sure that that header is similar or exactly the same on your cover letter as it is in your resume. Again, and it's more of a visual thing for the recruiter to keep, to not get them confused. And it's very easy to pair them together. Another thing to keep in mind is just the font. Make sure that the font's the same, the size of font is the same, your headings and how you do that is all the same. So again, this consistency thing keeps coming up. So moving on to your resume, and again, ensuring that your application lands in the keep pile and not in the toss pile. There's a few things to consider. So I talked about white space in the cover letter and how white space is a good thing on a cover letter. You want to kind of have that section for recruiters to make notes on your profile. And you don't need your cover letter to be a whole page. You only need it to be half a page. With your resume, it's a little bit different. You don't necessarily want there to be a lot of white space. You obviously don't want it all full with context. You still have to have your proper spacing and everything. But with white space, you don't want to have half a page blank. So I know that a lot of people either want one full page or two full pages. They don't want 1.5 pages, and it can be very difficult. An easy thing to do with that is just the formatting. So, increase your font a little bit to stretch it to that 2 pages, or condense it to make it into that 1 page. Play with your indexes, the margins, on the outsides. Kind of play with that a little bit to make it fit either 1 page or 2 page. 2 pages is acceptable. 1 page is also acceptable. Going to 3 pages is a little bit too much unless it's an extensive job that you're applying for. But you really, again, this comes down to the cutting of information on a resume. You don't, for example, if you're applying for a marketing job, the fact that you worked and you're graduating from university, let's say that you worked as a lifeguard in high school, that may not necessarily be relevant to this specific job that you're applying for after school. You want to make the information that you're putting on your resume as relevant as possible to the job that you are applying for. So really analyze that, and if it doesn't make sense to have on your resume, just cut it out. Another thing that some people ask is on a resume, people will have an objective at the top and saying my objective is to be working at XYZ company in XYZ position. Again, this kind of relates back to the my name is and I'm applying for on your cover letter. It's not necessarily needed. You don't need to tell the recruiter that you are applying for this position because it's already made known in you like applying and submitting your resume to that specific job. So just make sure that, again, you're cutting information that is not needed. The other big thing with your resume is the quality and the quantity of content, the quantity in your content. So, for example, if you were a communications director or a marketing executive in an organization or on your team, you want to be able to explain what exactly you did in that role and put hard numbers to that. So if you manage a team, say I managed a team of 8 people to deliver 6 different marketing campaigns, and things like that, to really show the quality of work that you've done. You also don't want to use too many basic terms. So good in communication skills, or great in this, or excellent in this. You really want to be able to highlight those skills, but highlighting how you were good at those skills is even better. So again, communication. I keep relating back to communication, but if you created a marketing campaign that engaged X amount of people, then that probably shows that you're good at communication skills and marketing campaigns, rather than just saying good in communication. You really want to provide ways that you succeeded in this area. Another quick thing about the resume is again, this goes for the quality of information, but it also, you don't want to lack information. And this is, I see this a lot in Enactus students. We want to make sure that we're not just putting, I am a member of Enactus XYZ school. You really want to make sure that you're explaining what that Enactus experience is or was. So again, president of Enactus or VP of HR at Enactus, you really want to highlight what that means. And this doesn't necessarily go for Enactus, but if you were president of, again, XYZ organization or club, you really want to outline what that means, because the recruiter might not know what XYZ company is or what XYZ company stands for. So you really want to, again, give enough information, but not too much information, and the information that matters. Okay, and the last little piece that I wanted to talk about was the application questions that you may or may not have on in the process of applying for a job. This will usually be, why are you a good candidate? Things like that. And general rules for this is you want to, again, stand out. So don't simply answer the question with, I'm a good candidate because, and then list your 3 skills. You really want to get creative with it, and take people through a story almost. Kind of think about it in their perspective. Say, like, ask yourself, why are they asking this question? What are they looking for in this question when applicants apply for it? And then tailor your response accordingly. Putting yourself in their shoes will definitely make your thinking process a little bit different, and it won't be as much of, I'm a good candidate because. It will be, you'll get more creative with it for sure. The last really quick thing that I wanted to talk about was specific to Enactus students and getting you recognized as a valued member of the Enactus candidate community. Again, this relates to having that Enactus experience on your cover letter, in your resume, and in those application questions that you apply for. When applying through the Enactus Canada Talent Community, which is the exclusive job board for Enactus Canada students, you want to be able to highlight that experience. I think for the most part, the organizations and our corporate partners do value the Enactus students, but you have to be able to to kind of flag yourself as an Enactus student in the proper way. So again, not just saying member of Enactus. You want to say what you learned in Enactus. So were you a project manager for a job, project manager of a project or project that you were running on your campus, sorry. And what skills did you learn from that? A lot of organizations are looking for those independent thinkers and those people who are able to solve problems and people who have seen a project kind of start to finish in a way. And all of the skills that you've learned from that are very, very valuable. So portraying that in your application is definitely key. Another really quick thing about applying through the Enactus Canada Talent Community is when you apply directly to specific job boards. So let's say it is the Scotiabank job board. There's usually a referral section on that job board, and indicating there that you heard this opportunity through Enactus or Enactus Canada or the Enactus Canada Talent Community will also kind of flag you as an Enactus student, and then relaying, and then they can reference that and see your resume and see the quality of work that you've done in your Enactus lifetime will portray through. Just going. So I think that today I have definitely covered a lot of different tips and tricks for resume writing and for cover letter writing. But before we end off, I just wanted to show you really quickly the Enactus Canada website and where you can find articles that have been written around these tips and tricks. So I'm just going to screen share with you. So if you go to the Enactus Canada website here, and if you go to news, and if you go to blog, there are lots of different articles that have been written. But main ones are, the big interview, prepare, execute, and follow up. There's lots of tips and tricks here. Mastering the dreaded job search, which kind of takes you through ways that you can effectively look for jobs that are out there. And this one, which is kind of what we were talking about today, ensuring your resume lands in the keep pile with attention to detail, kind of walks you through it. So again, we talked about spelling, white space on the resume, white space on your cover letter, the objective, the basic terms, and the lack of information. So there's lots of resources here. And again, just another call out to follow Enactus Careers on Twitter. So we do post lots of resources on here. Again, webinar series was kind of the last thing that was being promoted, but we also have job postings here as well. So finance and marketing internship position now available at BDC. We have job posting from HSBC, lots of different resources there for you to take a look at. And I'm just going to quickly highlight the Enactus Canada Talent Community here as well. So this is the Enactus Canada Talent Community where you can go on and view all of the job postings that our corporate partners have posted at the moment. And you can apply through here. You simply just have to create a profile on the portal and fill out your general questions information, which is basic information like graduation time, what you're looking for in recruitment, what school you go to, what your Enactus experience is, as well as upload a recent resume. And then you can always upload, you can continue to upload different resumes tailored to specific jobs. So I think that that's all I really had to talk about today. I just wanted to, again, thank everyone for coming out and tuning in to the very first Enactus Careers webinar. If you have any questions about anything that was talked about today, any comments, if you have any tips and tricks that you would like to share that you have found worked really well for you, for your resume, cover letter, or application questions, please feel free to comment below. and share those with us. Again, any questions you can post in there, or you can also email me personally at heather@enactus.ca. And I would love to get your feedback on this. So thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all at the next webinar series, where we will be covering the interview process and interview tips that you can gain before stepping into that interview. So thank you so much, guys. I'll see you later.